working in the spirit of the Golden Empire. This is 17 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. We begin with a not guilty plea from a man accused in the murder of a 5-year-old Bakersfield boy. The shooting death of Kason Guyton shocked our community. In February 2017, Kason was in his mom's boyfriend's car coming back from a movie. He and his 7-year-old brother were shot. His brother survived, but 5-year-old Kason did not. Since then, local investigators have been searching for the men who did it. Yesterday, they announced the indictment of Jonathan Knight and Jeremy King. Today, Knight is in custody, arrested a few weeks ago after yet another shooting, this time in the southwest Bakersfield community of Quailwood. No one was hurt in that suspected gang-related shooting. And this is video of Knight in court today as he pled not guilty to 8 counts related to the shooting of Kason Guyton. Jeremy King is still at large. Here's a look at his picture there. If you have any information on where he may be, call BPD at 327-7111, or you can remain anonymous by calling the secret witness hotline. That number is 322-4040. Election news now. The Democratic hopefuls squared off for the 3rd time last night in Houston, this time all on one night on one stage. Frontrunner Joe Biden was attacked on his record as expected, but some say he was also attacked on his age. NBC's Tracy Potts reports on all the action.
Debate 3 for the Democrats is in the books, and there were some fireworks.
Are you forgetting what you said 2 minutes ago?
This was the first debate where all of the candidates who qualified fit on the same stage. 10 candidates, including former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Elizabeth Warren, among the frontrunners squaring off face-to-face for the first time. There were a number of issues, but one that we heard a lot about at this debate was gun control or gun rights.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47.
President Trump was a frequent target at this debate.
So, President Trump, you've spent the last 2.5 years full-time trying to sow hate and division among us.
We have a guy there that is literally running our country like a game show.
And while he seems to be the thing that the Democrats agree on, there are a number of things where they don't agree. So, third debate is done, and now we are still more than a year away from this election with still a lot of options for Democratic voters to sift through. From Washington, I'm Tracy Potts.
Bakersfield Congressman and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy zeroed in on one moment, particularly in last night's Democratic debate regarding guns. His colleagues called out Beto O'Rourke's comments you heard just a moment ago on taking assault weapons. Republicans call it evidence some Democrats support outright confiscation of some guns. That, they say, goes beyond the scope of voluntary or even mandatory buyback proposals. But McCarthy says the president is working on reform to prevent another mass shooting.
The president is getting all the information from law enforcement, from the legal community, from Barr and others. He's meeting with members on both sides of the aisle, and I expect he'll come forward with a package quite soon. But he wants to gather all the information first and make sure whatever we move forward solves a problem, that none of this happens again.
All right, it is finally Friday, and we're heading into a warm weekend. Taking a look outside, sunny skies, a little bit hazy, and Kevin has a look at what you can expect as you head off into the weekend.
Maddie, it was a warm day yesterday. We were talking about those 90s were going to return. 94 was the high yesterday, still far from the record of 108 set back in 1983. As we take a look at today, upper 90s by 3 o'clock, mid 90s by 6, and then we'll slip back into those 80s by 9 o'clock, looking at 86 degrees and a light northeast wind at 2. Into the mountains, mid 80s today, 82 by 6, and then as we head into the evening hours, right around 9 o'clock, clear skies, lower 70s, and we'll be looking at a light wind out of the west. We are going to warm it up tomorrow, but then a cool down is on the way. I've got more details on that coming your way in just a few minutes.
One-time sheriff's candidate Justin Fleeman has filed a claim against the county. Fleeman challenged Sheriff Donnie Youngblood in June last year, but lost the election. During his campaign, he blasted Youngblood's leadership and accused him of letting deputies get away with bad behavior. The former chief deputy was terminated 3.5 months ago. Fleeman said his firing is retaliation by Youngblood and other KCSO officials. The claim is listed in next Tuesday's Board of Supervisors agenda. In it, Fleeman says his reputation was damaged and intends to file suit for money against Kern County. We'll have more on this story as soon as information becomes available. The Bakersfield Police Department is looking for a missing teenager. Celine Sanchez Rivera was last seen just after 7 Wednesday morning in the area of Cottonwood Road and Carver Street in South Bakersfield. Sanchez Rivera has been described as Hispanic, 17 years old, 5'8", 140 pounds with long black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about her location is urged to call BPD at 327-7111. We have an update to a story now about a local gynecologist who's previously been disciplined by the state medical board. As we've now learned, Dr. Jason Halliwell is charged with 31 felony counts. Court records show those charges include conspiracy to commit a crime, making false statements for health benefits, and grand theft of property. The records also state that Dr. Halliwell was charged Wednesday of last week. According to court records, bail was set at $300,000 and he has since bailed out of jail. In July of last year, we told you a state medical board accusation showed that the gynecologist and cosmetic surgeon was accused of sexual misconduct and negligence. According to the medical board's decision, Dr. Jason Halliwell was placed on probation for 3.5 years following those allegations. His probation prohibited him from practicing cosmetic surgery, with the exception of 4 procedures, including liposuction and vaginal reconstruction. The decision also requires a third party be in the room with Halliwell while he treats female patients. Dr. Halliwell is scheduled to be arraigned on Monday, September 23rd. The California Highway Patrol is holding pedestrian safety enforcement operations today. Officers will be at 2 spots looking for drivers and pedestrians who fail to yield the right-of-way or who take unsafe, illegal actions. They'll be at Niles Street and Webster Street and Roberts Lane and Plymouth Avenue. Officers dressed in plain clothes are crossing the streets, while uniformed officers monitor the crosswalk for drivers and, yes, pedestrians who fail to yield the right-of-way, and they may be issued warnings or tickets.
I can tell you from personal experience, it's pretty scary when, the speed limit out here is 40 miles an hour, and as you're crossing, a car whizzes by you at 40 miles an hour without even slowing down. We've had motorists even accelerate around us while we're in the crosswalk, and when we talk to them or when they're stopped, their answer is, "Well, I'm in a hurry. I can't wait for the pedestrian to cross the street."
Officer Robert Rodriguez added that CHP officers had already pulled over dozens of drivers this morning. We'll have updated numbers for you tonight on 17 News at 5. Much anticipated, exciting new research on treating peanut allergies hits a snag. The one drawback to a new form of immunotherapy. And an update as the CDC investigates illnesses related to vaping across the country. Your 17 Health Watch is after the break. Welcome back now in your 17 Health Watch. Federal health officials have revised the number of cases of vaping-related illnesses. According to the CDC, there are now 380 confirmed and probable cases of severe lung illnesses linked to e-cigarettes in 36 states and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The number's lower than what the CDC previously reported because it no longer includes possible cases that were still under investigation. The CDC says it will no longer release data on cases that are less certain. 6 deaths have been reported, including some who had pre-existing lung problems or other health issues. The protective effects of oral immunotherapy for peanut allergies may not last. That's according to a new study from Stanford University. Researchers looked at the long-term effects of the treatment in which patients build up immunity by taking a daily peanut pill. After 2 years of treatment, 83% of people were able to tolerate an accidental exposure to peanuts, but only 13% maintained that tolerance a year after stopping the immunotherapy. Hair loss can have a devastating impact on a woman's emotional well-being, but when it comes to dealing with it, there are a few options. So a Texas hair salon owner set out to make a difference. Bianca Castro reports.
Renata Salon isn't your ordinary hair salon. It's a destination for women and girls living with hair loss.
Once you find that you can have any hair you want, you can have your dream hair, then you start to realize, oh, okay, this can be actually kind of fun.
Salon owner Lauren Jackson set out to make it fun when she transformed this suite into a wig salon. Here, she customizes her own line of hair pieces to each woman in her salon chair. Full wigs, toppers, color, and cut, all meant to restore the natural confidence her client may have lost. A feeling Lauren knows well.
When I started losing my hair, I was completely devastated.
Still in her 30s, Lauren was diagnosed with alopecia areata. It's a common autoimmune skin condition that causes bald spots.
I went into a depression. If I'm really honest with you, I wanted to run as far away as I possibly could from anything that had to do with hair.
There is no cure for alopecia areata, which isn't as common as traditional female pattern baldness. Doctors say a shift in hormones, like during pregnancy or menopause, may result in female hair loss, but the real cause isn't known.
It's a little embarrassing for someone to come talk about it, but I think once they know that the incidence of it is actually pretty high, and if they were to talk about it, they realize how many women are actually going through the same thing.
Lauren says she came to that realization when she posted about her alopecia on Instagram and heard from hundreds of other women. And when she says she couldn't find a wig that didn't look wiggy, in her words, she launched her own line, Faux Hair Don't Care.
It's been life-changing for me knowing that I'm helping other people find their way and just find an option.
Like the option of feeling pretty, no matter the style.
Do you feel like Barbie?
Yes.
You look like Barbie, but prettier.
Bianca Castro reporting. There isn't a cure for alopecia. Doctors said the most effective treatment is a topical solution like Rogaine. All right, we're checking out the Finally Friday forecast. The good news is it's the weekend. The bad news, we're headed for a warm-up.
Maddie, we're still tracking hurricane season. We just got done with Dorian, and now we're tracking another storm. And you can see it. It hasn't developed into a tropical storm yet, but it is expected to in the coming days. The latest on this is Tropical Cyclone 9, so it doesn't have a name yet. It will be Aaron if it does develop into a tropical storm. And you can see by Saturday morning, we expect it to be tropical storm strength, and then it'll make its way along Florida again and into the Carolinas. It doesn't look like it will be a hurricane. It'll stay at tropical storm strength, but it is definitely something to watch since we're still trying to recover from Dorian. Here's a look at the satellite and radar for our region. Not a lot happening. Clear skies around the state. No changes on that front. High pressure building on in here for the weekend, giving us temperatures near 100 tomorrow. Developing trough out of the north, though, will help us on the jet stream as we head into Sunday and Monday. This will swing into Northern California and also influence our weather. So we are going to look for the 80s to return next week, Monday through Thursday. Hopefully sticking around through Friday. 98, though, today in Sacramento, 100 in Fresno, 90 in Los Angeles, 82 in San Diego. We'll be right near 100 in Vegas. And the beaches, Pismo, warm today, 83 degrees under sunny skies, a north wind right around 10 to 15. Air quality not in our favor, unhealthy for sensitive groups with an AQI to 105 today. And we'll look for sunny and 98 in Bakersfield, 97 in Delano, 96 in Buttonwillow. Tonight back in the 60s and 70s for the mountains, sunny and warm, 88 in Frazier Park, 86 in Tehachapi with 90s into the Kern River Valley. Lake Isabella 94, Kernville 95 for the desert, right near 100 in Ridgecrest. Look for a northeast wind right around 10 to 15. Extended forecast tomorrow, 198 on Sunday, and then 80s return next week, the coolest of the days. Tuesday with a high of 82. For the mountains, we'll be in the 80s through Sunday. Sunday and Monday, a little bit of cloud cover. Then by Tuesday, you're right near 69 with a breeze. And the Kern River Valley looking very nice. Some cloud cover on Sunday at 94, and then your coolest day coming next Tuesday with a high of 76. That's look at your forecast. Have a great weekend. We'll send it back over to you.
Still ahead this afternoon, it seems like a good gig. House flipping. Take a dilapidated home, rehab it, and sell it for a hefty profit. But it's easy to get overextended. A cautionary tale coming up next in your 17 Business Watch.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
We are back in your 17 Business Watch on this Friday. The Dow is up about 13 points so far in trading, rising for the 8th straight day and nearing a record on growing optimism around U.S.-China trade. The NASDAQ, however, is down just about 27 points and the S&P 500 down 6 points. And let's take a look at oil prices today. West Texas Intermediate is selling lower at $54.85 a barrel this afternoon. We'll, of course, have your closing numbers from the day on Wall Street coming up tonight on 17 News at 5. Other business news this afternoon. Old Navy seems to be doing well because the retailer plans to open hundreds of new stores, 800 to be exact. The retailer already has about 1,200 stores, but says it wants to open stores in smaller, underserved markets. No word on when the new stores might open. Gap, which owns Old Navy, says it has plans to spin off Old Navy into a public company next year. Old Navy sales made up nearly half of Gap Incorporated's $16.6 billion of sales in 2018. Just weeks after Apple, Amazon plans to hold a big product launch event. Details are being kept a secret, but it's scheduled to happen September 25th in Seattle. Tech experts predict Amazon could reveal new Echo devices and other gadgets or services. At an event last September, Amazon announced a long list of new Echo and Echo-related devices. Low interest rates, tight inventory, and a strong economy have all been a boon to the thousands of people every year who flip homes, buying and selling a house for a quick profit. That could be about to change, as we hear from Scott Cohn of CNBC's American Greed.
On the reality show Property Wars, house flipper Scott Menagid made it look easy.
Here I come, baby.
But by 2014, he was in over his head and tried to keep his business going by lying to lenders and investors to the tune of $30 million, the story told on CNBC's Next American Greed.
Everything that was tied to Scott was tainted with some sort of fraud, some sort of lies.
As extreme as Menagid's story is, experts say it's a cautionary tale for anyone playing the real estate market. It's easy to get overextended.
Flipping houses is risky. The hotter the housing market, the riskier it can be.
Even riskier when the market hits its peak, which veteran flipper Taylor Denchfield thinks might be happening now.
We're certainly reaching the top of the bubble.
Smart flippers have enough money to weather the unexpected, like renovations that go over budget or a slowdown in the market. And they have a plan B.
You should always have a backup plan to be able to rent the home if you're not able to sell it for what you are expecting to be able to sell it for.
Good advice for traditional homeowners and buyers as well. There's still money to be made, but proceed with caution. Scott Cohn, NBC News.
You can see how real estate realty star Scott Menagid flips a successful house flipping career into a web of lies, deceit, and staggering losses. Watch an all-new episode of American Greed Monday, September 16th, only on CNBC. Coming up next, your 17 entertainment news. The loss of a music superstar. Details on the passing of singer Eddie Money after the break. Welcome back in entertainment news now. Eddie Money has cashed in his ticket to paradise. Money, whose real name was Edward Joseph Mahoney, revealed in August that he'd been diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer. Today, his family confirmed to NBC News that he died peacefully early this morning. The 70-year-old rock star was behind hit singles like 2 Tickets to Paradise and Take Me Home Tonight. Before becoming a musician, Mahoney followed in the footsteps of his father and became an officer with the New York Police Department for 2 years. He then moved to Northern California, honing his craft and playing in local clubs. He changed his name to Money in 1976, and his career took off after he met famed promoter Bill Graham. Money survived by his wife, Lori, and their 5 children. In a statement to NBC News, the family said, quote, "It's so hard to imagine our world without him. However, he will live on forever through his music." Jennifer Lopez seems to be getting better with age. The multi-talented star, who turned 50 over the summer, is a multi-platinum singer, executive producer of NBC's World of Dance, and a bankable movie star. You can see her put her gifts to work in a new film out this week. Here's Raphael Seth with your box office preview.
Front hook, ankle hook, knee hook.
Jennifer Lopez goes beyond her world of dance in Hustlers. The triple threat plays a mother hen at a strip club, teaching young performers like Constance Wu her money-making moves. But it's J-Lo's brain that brings home the big bucks as she hatches a scheme to turn the tables on the Wall Street high rollers who frequent the establishment for plundering the nation's financial system. Hustlers is rated R.
It's like he sent me exactly where I needed to be and to who I needed to be with.
Ansel Elgort walks a divergent path in The Goldfinch. The Baby Driver stars as the survivor of a terrorist attack at a museum. The bombing claimed his mother's life when he was just 13, so to try to heal those emotional wounds, he gets support from other victims, a new mother figure in Nicole Kidman, and a valuable piece of that terrible day, a painting from the museum. The Goldfinch is rated R. Peter Sarsgaard delivers good vibrations in The Sound of Silence. This indie film stars the looming tower actor as a house tuner, someone who calibrates the sonic feng shui of people's homes to enhance the inhabitants' moods. But he comes across a particularly depressive case in the apartment of Rashida Jones and realizes romance might be music to both their ears. The Sound of Silence is not rated. That's the box office preview. Raphael Seth, NBC News.
Also out this week, the Halloween thriller Haunt. When we come back here on 17 News at noon, it's time to check out our pet of the week. Chuck Nordstrom is in from the SPCA, and he'll introduce us to this little cutie coming up. Welcome back. Finally here at noon, Chuck Nordstrom is in with our pet of the week from the SPCA. Chuck, good to have you in.
Glad to be here.
And this is Gizzy, right?
This is Gizzy.
Hi. But he knows his name. His ears just flicked up.
He's had that name for 10 years.
Oh.
So Gizzy's 10 years old, little Chihuahua. So he's one of our little senior special guys. Kind of what you see is what you get. Gizzy wants to sit on someone's lap about all the time. If you want to come in and check him out, you don't have to go too far because he's pretty much sitting on someone's lap in the lobby.
Really? Look at how sweet.
If he goes out into a kennel, he'll sit there and kind of cry. He doesn't want to be left alone. He's not used to being outside.
Oh, okay.
He was always an indoor dog, had his own little bed, and now just wants somebody to love him and have their lap for him to sit on.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a little companion, or you have another little dog and maybe they'd like a friend, come and check out Gizzy. He really needs a good, loving home. And for seniors, since he's a senior dog, he would be half price if you're a senior.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I think we can see right here the great things about senior dogs, but a little calmer probably. Obviously he's very house-trained.
Oh, very house-trained. The only time he ever spent outside was when he went out to go potty. Otherwise had his own little bed that he'd go lay in, or would just curl up on someone's lap and sleep while they were watching TV or reading a book or whatever.
Okay. So a really great little companion for someone out there. We want to find him a good home. That's where he's used to being.
Absolutely.
Someone's home in someone's lap. You can call 323-8353 if you are interested in adopting Gizzy and giving him a good, loving home. You can also head down and visit Gizzy and the other animals up for adoption in Bakersfield off Rosedale at 3000 Gibson Street. Thanks, Chuck, for coming in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you back tonight for 17 News at 5.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.